So, Adam, Ben, who's to blame for the Kurt failure? Was it just one of those unique circumstances that just could not be prevented?
Well, let me just say that I'm hardly a construction expert, so I have no idea what went into the construction of the curb, why it was placed there, how it was placed there, how it eventually came undone. So, I'm not sitting up here on my soapbox trying to pretend I can do their jobs, although it was kind of amusing to see Doug Bowles himself out there helping with the cleanup. That provided some comic relief, I think, for a very frustrating situation. Let me just say that I really miss David Hoots. I feel like ever since he left, race control has had a lot of problems, and I can list them all off here. If you go back to the Bristol dirt race and the truck series this year, sending the trucks out for their heat when the track clearly was not ready, and everybody had their windshields completely blocked with dirt and couldn't see anything. Half a lap into the heat race, ended up having to postpone that. You had the Knoxville race on dirt as well from the truck series. That track was not prepped very well. That race was not very good. You had a delayed caution in the truck race at Charlotte when Trey Hutchins and Johnny Sauter crashed that I think could have been prevented or at least made far less severe. In the Cup Series, you had the controversy at Circuit of the Americas with the rain and how race control handled that and ultimately ended the race prematurely. You had not throwing a caution at New Hampshire Motor Speedway just a few weeks ago when it started to rain, and now this today when Martin Truex Jr. spins out and you see debris. I mean, I assume race control has just as much of a viewpoint and just as many angles on what's happening, if not more, than we do watching at home. And we all saw debris going everywhere when Truex spun. I don't know if that was coming from cars or the curb or whatever, but I thought there's no way they're going to hold out here and not throw a caution. That's exactly what they did. And the most predictable thing happened when they came back around and you saw William Byron spin and 7, 8, 10 more cars, however many it was, get destroyed with them. And now you have a multi-million-dollar junkyard in the middle of the Indianapolis road course. And it's just a very embarrassing situation for everybody involved. This was a race that replaced the crown jewel of a NASCAR schedule. And I know, listen, I've been on record saying I didn't feel like the Brickyard 400 felt like a crown jewel anymore when you look at all the empty stands. Obviously, last year was completely empty because of COVID, but even before that, it felt like the race had lost its luster ever since the whole tire debacle in 2008. But it's still a crown jewel race. And when you take a crown jewel off the schedule, the event that you're replacing it with, it has a lot of expectations it has to live up to. And I thought it's very unfortunate because I thought the race today was shaping up to be a pretty good one. I still think Cup cars and NASCAR stock cars and trucks can put on a great show on road courses. But when you have something like this, it becomes a race-defining moment. And this was an opportunity for NASCAR, to really take 2 steps forward. I think they ultimately took about 5 steps back with what happened today. So, I know we've got other stuff to get to. I could keep going, but, it's inexcusable, incompetent, embarrassing. I could keep going with those superlatives, just to see what happened today. It didn't need to happen, and it's totally on NASCAR in my opinion.
Yeah, and Ben, you listed a whole laundry list of things that have gone wrong this year in NASCAR. And as you were saying, I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I thought at some point, I'm gonna run out of fingers to count of what happened. It was what's been happening this year in race control. But to say the least, today's race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, like you were saying, I thought the race was shaping up to be pretty good. A lot of great action in stage 1 and 2, and then the bottom just fell out. It wasn't a good look for NASCAR. And days like today, this is why people from other disciplines of motorsports make fun of NASCAR and don't take it seriously. When debris was flying all over the track, Martin Truex Jr. spun. In your opinion, did NASCAR make a mistake by not throwing the yellow?
I mean, is that a trick question or something? I mean, I think I answered it in the last segment. Yes, obviously they should have thrown the yellow there. Definitely made a mistake. And, Adam, to bounce off your point, I guess I'll bring it up here. I saw somebody on Twitter say, I think Robbie Gordon's getting ready to fire up his stadium super truck and head out there because they removed the curb, but they didn't remove the horizontal curb that was acting like a ramp that was launching cars into the air really all weekend. We saw it in the IndyCar race, even with Scott McLaughlin, and obviously the Xfinity race as well with Chris Wright. So, I found it was because it was the most predictable thing ever. I found the clip of Dan Hicks when Tiger Woods forced the playoff in the 2008 U.S. Open, and I took the expect anything different line and put it over the crash in the first overtime segment because, it was just the most predictable thing ever. When they removed the curb and you knew those guys were going to be going too wide through that chicane. And, when I saw McDowell spin out, I was just, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry because everybody knew what was about to happen. We're lucky we didn't get it on the second overtime. Like I said, we should keep going because I could just keep going on for hours about this. But, it's days like today that make me question my passion for a series that I fell in love with 15 years ago. It's just really disheartening to see things like this. And then we wonder why when motorsports fans around the world or at large talk about different disciplines and different series, NASCAR is referred to how it is, because, this is something that is simply unacceptable. And they really need to take a look at trying to prevent it in the future. And I don't know, everybody in race control needs to be fired. I know that might sound harsh, but you can't have stuff like this happen. It's just as simple as that.